Hello, my name is Christian Mohidem. In this meeting, I'm going to share out some of the major of my reports so far. This means that in this meeting, I'm going to talk more about different terms that are usually used for the global business or the international trade. Those terms are exchange rate, there's trade barriers, there's import and export. And then finally, in the end of this meeting, I'll be showing how each of the above terms affect the global business. The exchange rate, trade barriers, import and export shall be looking how each affect the global business. And then also finally by the end of this meeting, we shall be looking how our eSIM widget company will benefit from knowing those terms. So let me first start on an exchange rate. So an exchange rate is the value of currency in terms of another nation's currency, or it is the value of one nation currency versus the currency of another nation or economic zone. So let us take an example to understand well what is an exchange rate. You can ask yourself how many Rwandan francs does it need to buy $1. So means nowadays $1 is almost 997.353 Rwandan francs. So it means that it will require someone 997.353 Rwandan francs to buy $1, and that is what we call an exchange rate. There is also what we call there's a trade barrier. The trade barriers are the government induced restriction on the international trade. So an example of the trade barrier, there is what we call debt relief. Actually, debt relief are the tax imposed by one country on goods and services imported from another country. So mainly the purpose of the trade barriers is to protect the domestic industries from the foreign competition. So to understand this, let us take an example. In Rwanda, there is Simerwa. It is a company that produces cement. So if there is another outside company from Rwanda, maybe from China or Uganda, that wishes to bring the industry to operate here in Rwanda, the government will be imposing them the taxes. Mainly the purpose of those taxes, it will be like discouraging them, restricting them to come and operate here in Rwanda. So if those taxes are high, that company will no longer come to operate the activities here in Rwanda. Therefore, the government will be protecting its domestic industry away from that outside competition. So there is also what we call the export and import. So the import refers to the buying goods and services from foreign sources and bringing them to our home country, while the export is the selling of product and services from our country in the foreign countries. So to take an example, if I bring like rice from Uganda in Rwanda, that is what we call importation. And then if am selling sweet potatoes in China, that is what we call the exportation. So let us look how each of the above terms affected the global business. So on taking an example on the trade barriers, the trade barriers cause the limited choice of the product. Means when some of the companies are restricted, to be causing the limited choice of the product. Also the exchange rate there is impacted the buying and selling overseas. Since the value of currency always change, this also impact the buying and selling overseas. The importation also, it is better to know is it how it in the export, how it affects the global business, because sometimes you may import the goods that are not needed, and you may export the goods that are not needed. So it is better when you're going to start the business to know like which good will I sell outside the countries, which good will I need to bring them in my countries. So therefore it is very important for our eSIM widget company to know the above information, because it will help us to know like which are our targets of our markets. It will also help us to know the money that will be needs. So because the money can change, it will can affect our company. Therefore, this will help our company to work against from gaining growth while we shall be looking on profit. Thank you.